All right. Let's just get right into it. First, addressing abortion. In my opinion, abortion is not an immoral choice for many reasons. Carrying and giving birth to a child is an extreme burden on a woman's body and it has lifelong impacts. And on top of that, not everyone's ready and willing to support a child. And I believe that realizing that and making an effort to prevent bringing a child into a life in which they're not ready to be nurtured, not ready to be cared for in the way that every kid deserves, is actually like a mature decision. It's admirable. An argument I hear a lot in relation to abortion is that it's better to put a child up for adoption than to abort a fetus, but I don't really believe that to be the case. Because not only does this argument ignore the long-term impact on a woman's body and how hard it is to give up a kid that you gave birth to, it also neglects extremely concerning issues in our foster care system. Inconsistent care, overcapacitated homes, and an increased rate of child abuse are all factors to keep in mind when discussing the idea of giving a kid up for adoption. One clear example of the foster care system failing California's foster children is displayed in high school graduation rates. Only 53% of foster care students graduate high school on time in our state. That's according to Children's Law Center. With that being said, when considering all the factors, I think it is clear that abortion is not immoral and should not be treated as such. Sorry, there's a little noise in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. Next, talking about adult sex work. This is a tough one, honestly, because I think that there's a lot to consider with this because, we're talking about people's lives. So I can see the perspective of people saying that adult sex work should remain illegal. But in my opinion, it should be legalized. The reality of the business of sex work is that it's always going to exist, no matter what, legalized or not. And the lack of regulation on the industry makes it far more dangerous and exploitive. Many women in the adult sex work industry are victims of violence, both physically and sexually, and are taken advantage of in many other ways, such as being underpaid and harassed. A few glaring statistics about sex workers are that 60% of prostitutes experience physical violence and 40% experience sexual violence. Another alarming fact that I saw is that female sex workers are 60 to 100 times more likely to be murdered than other women. This is all these facts are from the Prostitution Research and Education website. My hope with the potential of legalization is that there would be less underground work being done and more regulation so that incidents like these would fly less under the radar, and that hopefully people who are going into this industry are more safe. And then finally, addressing the last thing here, genetic engineering. This is a tough one for me as well because, there's a lot of the stuff that we talk about, we've already seen, right? Sex work, abortion, like these things are happening in America every day, right? And this idea of genetically designing babies, it doesn't sit right with me. I feel like it's a pathway to genetic inequality. I believe that genetic engineering can lead to many unintended consequences, such as increased disparity in income and success between the wealthiest people and just your average citizen. Being able to pick and choose traits to design a child takes away a lot of like kind of the beautiful unpredictability of a new child being brought into the world. And the advantage of this pricey science um, would be expensive, and only those available uh, to pay that much are going to be able to afford it. So while I do acknowledge that according to Pew Research Center, this enhancement revolution, if and when it comes, may well be prompted by ongoing efforts to aid people with disabilities and heal the sick, I think that there's a difference between, genetically preparing a baby like in a way to where you can avoid things like sickle cell disease and genetic um, diseases, and simultaneously balance, okay, are we creating, like, are we designing babies really? Like, it just doesn't seem right. But yeah, that's what I think.